And I realized that was the reincarnation of Pocahontas that opened the gateway to so much more spirituality, wilder than I ever imagined.
Yeah, okay. Welcome back, everyone, to another video. Now, this one I pulled from Dr. Phil, which is kind of like a treasure chest of funny videos that are fun to look at. Now, this one is called, and I kind of have two of them, 24-year-old reveals to parents that she is Pocahontas, and woman says she's the reincarnation of, you guessed it, Pocahontas. Let's take a look and see what we have going on here. And as always, you know, if you enjoy the video, like, subscribe, and comment. And what I want you guys to do as well is comment down below in the end and tell me, hey, what do you think? I mean, obviously, I think it's kind of messed up, but do you think reincarnation is true? What are the odds that what she's telling us is maybe like maybe it's kind of the truth? And what do you think is going on in her head? Is it some sort of scam, or do you think that she actually believes some of this stuff? But you know what? Without wasting any more of you guys' time, let's jump right in.
I woke up one morning and I just didn't feel the same. Like, I felt like Ayanna, but I felt like I was sharing myself with someone. I knew for sure that it was definitely Pocahontas.
You knew for sure, huh? Like, what I'm curious in is how did you know? You just felt a little bit more Pocahontas-y that day? And if so, what does it feel like to feel more Pocahontas-y?
She is Powhatan Native American. She was born in 1596. I have her old memories, and then there's now.
Now let me ask you this quick question here. Did you know these things before or after you were possessed by Pocahontas? I'd really be curious to know if that was knowledge that you maybe already had factually about Pocahontas' life, or if you were able to one day just recite everything about Pocahontas.
Her spirit definitely helps me get through my day-to-day life. I know secrets of the universe. I definitely am a portal for divine intervention.
Do you paint with all the colors of the wind?
I have not told my parents about the Pocahontas reincarnation. They just know I wear the makeup.
Well, I'm sure the makeup isn't any sort of a warning sign, you know? Like, it'd almost be kind of weird if you didn't wear Pocahontas makeup, you know?
These are energy points. And this is just like for my third eye.
Oh, no kidding. I thought those were just random places on the head. Energy points. What are you talking about? There's like not even like a clear place where she's pointing them out. She just kind of does a rotation around her head. And this is for my, looks around. My third eye. That's the thing.
I believe it's some bad energy following me. That's why I'm not working. That's why I don't have housing at the moment.
Oh, that's why, huh? It's not because you wear makeup on your face and think you're the reincarnated spirit of Pocahontas?
So I can't keep moving forward and break this curse or whatever this demon is that's holding me back. My dad had me banned from his apartment.
Rough, but fair.
My father, Robert, thinks I need to be on medication. He believes I'm bipolar. I think my mom wants me on medication because my dad thinks so.
Yeah, you know what? Forgive me for maybe stepping out on a limb here, my friend, but I don't think it's because your dad wants you to be on medication. I don't think that's the reason your mom wants you to be on medication. Maybe it's because you're painting your face to look like a Native American and you think you're the reincarnated spirit of like a 300-year-old chick. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but maybe you're crazy for doing it.
I have a spiritual connection, not bipolar. I believe my dad is trying to turn me into a zombie because the medication would numb out my personality. It would numb out my vibe. Other people who love me need that.
It sounds like it would also maybe numb out the Pocahontas thing, you know? Which maybe isn't such a bad result.
I think I'm just misunderstood. I get a little anxious or emotional like any normal human would. I use art and music as a form of therapy. Music is a way to speak what words can't say.
What, like TikTok? Like that kind of looks like you're using TikTok.
That's where my music videos come into play. My dad will trigger me to a point of emotional breakdown, then say I need medication and call the police on me.
Now listen, if we take your side of the story just at face value 100%, then okay, that sounds like a pretty rough thing. But I'd like to know what triggering you entails, because if he simply walks in and says, listen, honey, like I'm your father and I love you and I'll always love you, but you're not Pocahontas, like if that's what's counted as triggering, then I might have to take the dad's side on this one. What do you guys think? Leave it down in the comments. Whose side would you take on this one, huh? The dad or the daughter? I'm kind of curious to see what you guys have to say about it.
My dad has choked me out because I called him an N-word because he was acting like one.
Oh shoot. I will say this. No matter what in this situation, I would say that violence is the wrong answer. It's the wrong thing to do. So if he choked her out, he's in the wrong. I mean, that doesn't mean that she's not also in the wrong for calling him the N-word. And I love how she says, I called him the N-word because he was acting like one. Okay. I think we're gonna need a definition. What does that mean? What does it mean to act like an N-word? That's what I'd like to know.
My dad told a counselor that if my daughter doesn't control her outbursts, I'm a Vietnam War vet, so I could snap and kill her. My parents are more concerned about medicating me than providing me with actual resources to survive.
Listen, if you really have an issue and you're seeking help, and then people provide you with a solution or a variation of that help, and you say, oh, you're not trying to help me, you're not trying to help me, you're not doing anything for me, then you're the bad guy. In this situation, beggars can't be choosers, all right? It's not your parents, maybe until you're a certain age, it's your parents' job is to provide for you and so that you can survive, to provide you with resources. But in this point in your life, it is not your parents' responsibility to provide you with resources just because you think that you're Pocahontas. And them trying to actually help you doesn't make them bad people just because it's not the solution that you want to have.
I feel like a complete and total outcast because of this whole reincarnation. I wonder if they know who I really am.
Yep, you're their daughter. But who you are isn't Pocahontas, so if by who I really am you mean I wonder if they know I'm Pocahontas, no, they probably don't. You know why? Because you're not Pocahontas. And you know why you feel like an outcast? Because you're kind of ostracizing yourself from the rest of regular society.
Some people do believe me, some people don't believe me about Pocahontas. I try not to care too much because I know the truth.
Listen, lady, I can only say this in the most respectful way I can. You are bonkers.
I am the reincarnation of Pocahontas. Pocahontas is my 13th great-grandmother.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. That explains it. Now I kind of just feel like a dick, huh, for calling her out on it. Because, well, now that I realize that Pocahontas was her 13th great-grandmother, I mean, it'd be weird if she wasn't the reincarnation of her, right?
My dad is related to her by blood, and my mother and grandmother on my mom's side are related to her through John Rolfe.
You know how there's some conspiracy theories out there that, like, you know, like they sound kind of far-fetched, but as you learn more and more about them, there's almost like too much evidence to the point where you're like, oh, well, maybe this could be true. This is not one of those times.
Her husband. I found this picture of Pocahontas on the internet, and I was already convinced spiritually that Pocahontas was there. I really wanted physical proof that I could be her.
So you already had kind of a preconceived notion, and you went out to find physical evidence that confirmed your bias. And the only question I have that I know will never be answered is, I wonder how many pictures she went through of Pocahontas until she found one, kind of squinted and turned her head to the side and said, oh, that could kind of look like me if I focus hard enough.
It just jumped out at me on Google.
We have the same neck bone. We have the same nose shape, same cheekbones, the same ears.
I was like, oh, well, this is real.
Well, that settles it. I mean, come on, guys. They had the same neck bone, they had the same cheeks, the same ears, same nose. They have the same, I mean, her ancestor was Pocahontas. They share the same physical body now in this realm. They seem the same spiritual connection. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves, right? If you don't believe her, then you're the bigot.
If I go to the canal walk in my city and they're doing tours on the boats, I'll have flashbacks of men on the boat in red kind of shirts.
Wait a second. Red kind of shirts on the East Coast by the water. And Pocahontas lived on the East Coast, and who came there? The English. What did the English army wear? Red coats? Well, that's it right there. There's our definitive proof. She sees guys in red shirts.
Sailing shirts, white pants, and black ship hats. And I'm just looking at normal people, and it'll just flash back and forth between reality and back then, and it's so weird.
Now, if that is the truth, the cold hard truth and nothing but the truth, and you're not lying to me right now, and that's really happening, maybe your parents were right. Maybe you do need medication, and maybe they aren't the bad people for saying that.
People looking at me like, what is she looking at? And I'm looking at them like, do you know who I am? Because I see who you are.
Imagine walking down the street and you look over and there's a girl just intently staring at you. And she goes, "Do you know who I am? Because I know who you are." Now imagine that girl thinks that she's Pocahontas and she thinks you're an English sailor. How do you even go forward with that situation? How does that situation even look? How are the people supposed to react to that?
I've lost a couple friends because of it. I went to work one day with my makeup on. They had a huge problem with it. They made a scene.
Yeah, you randomly showed up with a bunch of makeup covered in your face, making you look like a Native American. I wonder what the problem was. I wonder why they made a scene.
Saying I was going to cause controversy is very intense pressure. Knowing that you're reincarnated and being that person of who you are and reincarnated, because then there's that story of everybody saying it's Pocahontas' fault why the colonists came.
Is that the kind of controversy you think you're gonna drive up? You think people are gonna walk in, look at you, and be like, "Oh my god, that's Pocahontas. Hey everybody, that's Pocahontas." And you know what Pocahontas did? It's her fault. The colonists came to America and killed all the Native Americans. Let's get her. When in reality, the real controversy is that someone will walk in to wherever you work, a store or cafe or whatever, and they will look at your face and be like, "Wow, this person's being really offensive. They just put weird random face paint on their face to try to look like a Native American. That's kind of offensive, and I don't want to associate with this place anymore."
And they stayed because she was so friendly. My purpose is to bring healing between the colonists and the natives.
Is that really like a rift that's still going on? Like maybe there are some Native Americans out there that are maybe still hold resentment towards Europeans for coming over here, and I guess maybe there's some Europeans that, like, it sounds even silly when I say it. Like, get real. That's not a real issue that's going on right now. Anybody who's still upset about something like that is part of such a small minority that they're just insignificant, right? Like, like I love that she thinks that this is her life purpose. Listen, you're chasing windmills. You're fighting windmills, all right? That's all that's going on.
I want to be the portal for that. I also want to bring Pocahontas' reincarnation to the fullest and live her best life while I still have it.
I'm sorry?
Please help my daughter.
This poor mom. Like, on here, her daughter's bonkers. Her daughter's 24 years old, requests support from her parents to keep staying alive, can't hold a job because she dresses up like Pocahontas, and doesn't understand that what's going on. And her mom's just like, "Come on, Phil, please help our daughter."
You think I'm crazy? Now you think I'm a...
What
did that just
do
make
you
your
think
feeling
about
worse?
that?
Yeah, a little bit, right? Like, you're kind of, like, you think you're Pocahontas, right? That's not a normal thing to think.
I asked
She's
her.
not wrong that she is 13th generation direct descendant of Pocahontas.
If I was, oh my goodness gravy. If I was in this mom's shoes, and even if I was a direct descendant of Pocahontas, I think it would get to the point where I was just like, you know what? We were just trying to make your childhood a little bit more fun. You're actually not a descendant of Pocahontas, okay? Like, I'm sorry to break it to you. Like, you're just not. And you could even make up somebody else that she's a descendant of, you know what I mean? But she's like, we just didn't think of it at the time, blah, 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 blah. We're actually not related to anybody. I'd like to see the result from something like that, but like, I don't understand why the mom keeps digging her heels and is almost kind of like maybe you shouldn't keep embellishing that. Maybe you shouldn't keep reminding her that she's somehow related to this person that she thinks she is.
And that's on John Rolfe's side.
No. Pocahontas and John Rolfe had children.
Right.
One of them is our ancestor.
How do you even know?
Oh, now it's a different story.
It's not a different story.
What do you mean it's not a different story?
And this happens all the time, that she misremembers something and then thinks that we're lying because it's changed in her mind.
Are you sure that you guys aren't just delusional?
Oh, checkmate. How do you respond to that, huh? She hit him with a no you. There's no way to respond to that response. She's already won the argument. All she has to say is, well, how do you think I'm wrong? Well, how do you know that maybe you're not wrong, huh? Oh, got her. Checkmate.
Because I'm going off what you're telling me.
Let's just assume, for argument's sake, just purely hypothetically, that reincarnation is a thing.
All right, I'm there. What's next?
And that she is a Pocahontas reincarnated. Why would that interfere with you having a job and being a contributing member of society? And how would that explain you being combative with people? And it just doesn't add up.
You know what? That is actually a really good question. Why wouldn't that affect her being part of society? I love it when Dr. Phil comes out of the woodwork, when our boy Phil comes in here and he just lays down some truth. He cuts right through the crud and he just says, you know what? Let's assume that your crazy delusional self is correct, all right? So he totally just eliminates her entire argument, and then he says, so what?
It sounds like a very convenient excuse for not pulling your own weight.
It really does, doesn't it?
I don't think so. I have to disagree with that.
Well, you can disagree with it, but the facts suggest that you use it as an explanation for why you're not accepted by society, and you paint your face up and go to work and they don't.
I only did that one time.
One time too many, if you ask this old cowboy. Get it? Cowboys and Indians? Wow, I'm good.
Well, I would think it would only take once. This is how you showed up for work.
I was very upset about it. Yeah,
Right.
that is how I showed up for work. I was very upset about it, and instead of just me not saying anything and letting it distract me from my job, I just I didn't see anything different.
Yeah, I know you couldn't see it because it was on your face and you can't see your face. But everybody else that you were working with and dealing with as an employee of a private corporation who has an incentive to make their brand and their customer-facing part of their business look good, all of those people, they all saw it and they all said, wow, this girl's either crazy or she's extremely offensive.
I just went ahead and did my job like I was supposed to. I just had on face paint. I didn't see any difference in it.
Yeah, well, how'd that work out for you?
I left.
So you lied. So you didn't just show up and do your job, you left. That's kind of part of the problem. Listen, I don't understand what the problem is, man. I just took a clothespin and I just put 3 of them on my nose and I stapled my ear shut and I showed up to work. I don't see what the problem was. I didn't notice any difference. I mean, sure, I was bleeding a little bit out of my ear, but I kept working just as hard. But I don't understand what everyone's problem was. Yeah, you look like a freak. That's the problem. You were a goofball. You went and did it for the attention. You drew a bunch of marks on your face, which, I'm not an expert on Native Americans, but like I would wager they probably aren't accurate to the time. Like she saw a movie and she was like, oh, I see. I'll do that thing like they do in football where I'll get that little black paint and I'll put it across my face on each cheek. And then I'll go blah, 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 and I'll slap my mouth while I shout, because that's what Native Americans do. All the while, she does not know what she's talking about, and she's absolutely out of her mind. But I mean, I guess enough about that, right? That's kind of what I wanted to show you guys. I had a fun time watching this. I hope you guys had a fun time enjoying this video as well right here. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know down below, do you think this is all in her head? Or do you think, I mean, it's all in her head. Let's not kid ourselves. Do you think she believes what she's talking about, or do you think she's using it as kind of an excuse or a scam to get out of doing work? Do you think it's just for attention? I'd really like to know what you guys have to say about it. Other than that as well, I have my Twitter down in the description below. I'm really trying to boost up those numbers of followers. It's a newer account, so I'd like to see that go up there. And like I said, I'd like to see the subscriber numbers go up too. It really makes me excited when I see those numbers go up. So, other than that, I hope you guys just enjoy the rest of your night. I hope you have a good one, and I'll let you go.